Okay, now we look at the people and places of Asia, and particularly China and the Philippines. And this week we focus on the modern sultans, retracing the life and the travel of the Sultan of Sulu, Paduka Batara, or sometimes called Paduka Pahala. I invited the unique person that I have met in all these. Of course, we have interviewed the chief of the mission, former Undersecretary of the OTC, Art Valdez, here last year on this same project. Now we invited Mr. Fung. His name is very Chinese, but he's very Filipino. And his uniqueness, which I found very interesting and curious, is that he is not a Chinoy, but a Noichi, meaning in our description of the Chinoy, the Chinese Filipino, Chinoy. The Chinese Filipino is a Filipino citizen of Chinese descent. That's why the Chinese is the qualifier of the noun Filipino. But Mr. Fung is a Filipino Chinese. He's still a Chinese citizen, but he was brought here to the Philippines when he was very young, and he has stayed here. Most of his friends are Filipinos, maybe 90% Barkada. The people he works with, like Art Valdez and the team in this barangay, are Filipinos. And so it's very interesting and very curious for me as a Chinoy to meet a Noichi. Okay, so Mr. Fung, give us a little of your history. When were you brought to the Philippines by your parents?
Well, actually, I was born in Fukien, and then I migrated here when I was 7 years old, together with my family.
Okay. Yeah. And you're now 46? And,
yeah, let's keep that a secret.
No, I should keep my age a secret. How did you get involved with this Balangay and Art Valdez? Please tell our audience.
Well, actually, it was about 7 or 8 years ago. I was doing coverage work for a broadsheet, and then I kind of found out about this Balangay project. Well, what piqued my interest was because this is a cultural and at the same time a heritage project. Since I'm very much involved with the heritage, especially in the Philippines, so I find myself, intrigued, and I wanted to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So, but back then, I had a regular job, so I was kind of more on a jump-on, jump-off basis. I would follow the Balangay when they call on the port, and then get back to Manila, and then follow them on the next succeeding port visit. So that's practically what I did.
I went a bit ahead of the discussion. Let's go back. What do you do? You're a photographer. You have a unique photographic service. You do 360-degree photography. You do drone photography. Your clients are newspapers, companies that need advertising images and so on. Yeah. So that's your background.
Yes.
And okay. Now, you have narrated how you got involved with this Balangay. The first sailing of Art Valdez and the team was just to go around the Philippines
and Southeast Asia.
And Southeast Asia. Where did it reach? And what was the intention? Because what was the purpose of Art Valdez to do this? Of course, Art Valdez has been engaged previously in another Filipino project to climb Mount Everest, and that was 2007 or?
Yeah, 2007 to 2009, I believe.
And then the Balangay was 2009.
2009.
And at that time, there was no intention yet to retrace the route of the Sultan of Sulu?
Well, actually, the initial voyage of the Balangay 7 or 8 years ago was to, first thing is to the reconstruction of the Balangay. I mean, remember, our Balangay boat is, it's an Asian boat. It's not entirely ours. It's actually a Austronesian boat. But we try to prove that the migration path of the Filipino back then is using boats similar to the Balangay.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's to rekindle the maritime consciousness and to preserve an intangible heritage, which is actually boat construction.
Yeah. Well, this is a very important point. No? When you say Austronesian, that's an anthropological term for the people from the south of Asia. Not just South Asia, meaning India and Pakistan,
Yes.
but really including parts of Indochina, the term used for Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and the Fujian province and so on. These are all south of Asia.
Yes, that's correct.
And when you say we, actually, almost everyone in the Philippines come from that region. And so this is genuinely our Balangay.
True, true.
Whether they now fall under the Chinese nation or the Filipino nation or Malaysia or Indonesia, we are one people.
True.
We come from one root. And I recall I have saved this article, I'll take a look at it in a while, of Sylvia Mayuga, precisely discussing this Austronesians. Okay. Now, the past few weeks, you have been sailing around Manila Bay, practicing and honing your skills in sailing. But let's listen to the, do we call him Chief? What do you call him? Guru Art Valdez?
We normally call him Sir Art.
Art, okay. Art Valdez, who is now 69. He has been my colleague as an activist from way back in our college days. Let's listen to Art Valdez about this project of his. Okay, let's roll the first video.
An activity like the Balangay expedition and getting people to support it, it's really quite difficult because it is really selling a dream, selling your hopes, putting together something and going around and peddling it is quite tough. And I met Junsi, and I saw in him that he shared the same passion and belief on the Filipino people.
One day he came to see me and told me about the next challenge he wanted to do. So he told me about the history of the Balangay, which I didn't know anything about, and parang I was just so fascinated and the question always popped in my mind that how come Filipinos don't know about this?
He supported the project. He funded the project. We built Diwata ng Lahi. We're ever thankful for Tao Corporation of helping putting flesh into this dream. Diwata ng Lahi sailed by ourselves. And then it gave birth to another boat, Masawa Kung Butuan, which the Butuan Global Forum put together.
Actually, Butuan Global Forum have been dreaming to build a replica of this boat many years ago, but we cannot do it for ourselves, and we do not know who to hire to build these things. Maayo kay naka-ani silang art, nagkasinabot mi, tapos na sila contact sa mga tao nga taga Tawi-Tawi, nga kaibalo pa mo himo ani. So finally, mo to nga ni intra yun, ni appeal mi sa project. Kasi ang Butuan City government was also supported. So, mo to nagka-team silang art sa Kaya ng Pinoy, kami Butuan Global Forum, and also the city government.
I was so happy that the Butuan Global Forum really naghimog leadership yun. No? Nanguna ba? Because it took some guy from Bacolod to inspire us. No? Dili Butuan nun, nangulo ni ini. Siya man ganin i-appreciate niya ang value ni ini. How much more kita?
We're thankful that San Miguel Corporation.
Okay, so in this segment we have several videos. No? Tao Corporation is a commodities trading, pharmaceutical, and so on. So it's a trading company, and we feature him to thank him for his support in the 2009 sale. And at that time, San Miguel Corporation too helped.
Yes.
And now let's look at the, do you have anything to add before we go to
No, let's go ahead.
take a look at the construction of the boats? Let's take a look. Second video.
Boat, makita ninyo, kung ano, wala na mga lansang, wala yung mga any screw or whatever, mga metal parts. Construction niya are mga planks. So ang proportion niya, ang length niya, gikuha na mo, gikan diri. Katunahin mo na mga balangay, pasawang butuan, was really a replica of the original boat we dug here in Butuan.
Ang inalam lang namin, ang haba ng kilya o haba ng bangka na gagawin natin. At saka ang width ng bangka natin. Sukat lahat-lahat yan doon.
Okay, so we just show tidbits of the different phases of this whole project. And you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, actually, just to say that, of course, we all know that the Balangay boats were first unearthed in Butuan, accidentally. And that's 1976. And the oldest boat was carbon dated to about 320 AD. So if you take that into context, 320 AD is more than 1,200 years before Magellan even set foot. So at the time, the kingdom
That's
Butuan,
more than 1,700 years from today.
Yes,
backwards,
exactly.
Okay.
So Butuan is already a thriving kingdom.
Yeah.
So to say that, you know, our ancestor is barbaric, well, this proves it's otherwise.
Yeah, of course. And there was trading between the Philippines and China, and of course, at that time we were under the Sri Visaya or Majapahit Empire, which was Hindu.
Yes.
And 400 years later, Muslim naman ang nag-travel to China.
Yeah.
Let's look at the life on these boats while they travel through the seas.
Ano, sardine lang.
Hinahintangman.
Matigas ang katawan niya, maraming tinig. We will use only hook and line. But sa hook na yan, talagang native na native ang paggawa nun. Kasi ang buhok ng tao, buhok ni Jack Pang yung ginagamit doon, talian doon sa bingwit, at saka yun ang ginagamit.
Hindi ko makalabot si Jack niya.
Hindi. Kasi layo pang Palawan, dami pang buhok, mahaba pa.
Putol! Ano naman masasabi na inuubusan ng buhok?
Okay lang.
Kaya?
Sa pagkain niya.
Ayun.
Ito mo namin mahuli. This is an artificial base made of rubber. Spare interior ng mga sakyan. Kailangan siya manipis, hindi mo siya gumakapan. Saka tinali natin ng rubber dito, saka tinahin dito sa gitna. Tapos lagyan ito ng rubber. Yun, pasok doon. Pag nakahila yun, parang isda talaga.
This thing will catch. At hihila ko sa isa sa mga mahuhuli niya. Sana wag masyado malaki kung kaya.
Ilan mo! Kaya mo yan! Hila! Kamay mo! O, sumakapit doon! Sige, sige, doon ka! Doon ka! Sige! Hila mo palo!
At ang kay Prof! Diba, biyaya ng dagat para sa birthday mo, Prof! Ang daming isda! Ang saya!
Okay, and so tidbits from the life on board, and then this launching, which was very exciting, and then we'll take our break and we go to the focus on Philippines and China. Okay, this last video.
That's the whole inspiration that brought about this voyage. And finally, we built Diwata ng Lahi, Masawa, and
The last is this sa Matawi-Tawi.
5, 4, 3,